Hey there, Mike with Kinney Bees. Today we're going to go over problem solving laying workers. We've got a hive that we split and had some queen cells in it, and those queens were either culled off by the laying workers, which weren't laying when we split the hive, and so the hive itself is actually pretty problematic. There is a lot of eggs in there from laying workers, which we'll show you how you can identify that here in just a second. But there's a couple different ways that you can go about solving that problem, and the problem that the way that we're going to go about solving it is that by placing the queen in a large cage in the hive itself. And so we'll make a little cage for her, show you how to place that, what to look for, some tips and tricks on doing that, and then turkeys are making a whole bunch of noise. They just follow me everywhere. But you know, some of the ways that you can handle it is you can take those bees out of it, shake them, 100 yards away or more, so they can't find their way back because they're workers. They've never been outside the hive, and they won't find their way back. Some people shake some frames into different boxes just so they don't lose bees. Some people will just scrap the whole works, just like I said, shake them off 100 yards away and start over. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is just try to keep as many of the bees as we can, but we ordered some queens. We've got some other boxes or some other hives that we need to put some queens in, so we've got some additional ones, but we're going to put one in the laying worker hive and show you how we went about dealing with that. So stay tuned. We're working on the laying worker hive today, and this is the box that we got for replacing the queens that are in there, or I should say adding one that is missing. I've already opened it, so I closed it up with some rubber bands, but this is kind of what you could expect. We only need one that we're aware of, but we do have three. There are three separate boxes in here. You can see right there, 3 cages. We have 3 marked queens, 2 Italians, 1 Carnolian, and it came with some attendant bees. So what we're going to do is make the cage that we're going to use. It gets embedded into the frame of frame in the hive itself. What we've got here is approximately 1/8-inch screen. It's on screen, it's made of metal, so we can bend it and form it a little bit, but I'm going to cut it to be about 4 by 6. What I'll do is measure this out approximately 9 inches, so when we fold it in, we do need a little bit to embed into the wax itself. We've got his 9 by 7 marked out. Grab a nice sharp tin snips. And then this will be the piece that we use to mold the cage. Put this away. And the wax is about 3/4 of an inch deep, so we'll leave every bit of that in the fold for when it pushes into the frame. And then about 1/2 inch for the bees. So what I'll do is mark 1.5 inches all the way around here so I know how deep to bend it. I don't know if you can see that or not. I have black shirt on, but you can see where it's marked. And what I've got is actually in folding tool. You wouldn't need this. I mean, it's pliable enough, but I guess it's my OC. And another thing is we need to cut out the corners here. Make one cut. When we fold it in, the corners can fold over each other. So what I'll do is start on the 2 sides here. Flatten that up so you end up with something that looks like this. We can fold up the ends. End up with the cage, it looks like this. We can fold over the sides. You got yourself a little cage, so that can be pressed right into the wax. What we may do is cut out a little slot here to release the queen end. So you can see the bees are in there. One end is corked, the other end is corked as well, but it has a sugar plug on there for the bees to eat them their way out. In this way of introducing the queen, we're not going to let the bees eat themselves out. We're going to pull the cork and slide them in there so they can roam around in its cage, and the laying workers can get used to her pheromones, and hopefully she starts laying some eggs and the brood's pheromones. So just as a quick demonstration, what we got here is an extracted honey frame. It's already got the wax built out, but just to show how this would get installed, frame would go on something like this, and then we would push this frame all the way down and then release the queen into this cage. And so the wax helps keep the cage in place, but yet all the bees in the hive will be able to have access to the queen and smell her and so on and so forth. So there you go. So what I did was I trimmed off some of the frame here. Was sticking out a little bit too much, so I cut about the half of that off. So instead of being 1.5 inch overhang, it's only about a 3/4 inch overhang. And there you go. So the cage can easily slide in between 2 frames. There's enough room in there for the bees to run around. Yeah, so we're gonna go and get this installed in the field. So this is our problem hive. This is the hive that's got a bunch of laying workers in it. And so, as we talked about before, we're going to put a cage on a frame in here, introduce a queen, and in about 3-4 days we'll come back, maybe 2 days, we'll come back and take a look and see if it appears that they've accepted her. And what the queen will do, having her cage in there, is she'll start emitting her pheromones, which should hopefully shut down the laying workers, but we're gonna give her a spot to also lay some eggs, and the brood will put off a pheromone as well that will hopefully suppress the workers' ovaries and stop them from laying. So let's get into it. So I ripped the lid off before. There's a lot of bees in there. So, as I talked about before, one of the things we could do would be to go shake these off like 100 yards or more from here. And the laying workers, which have likely never left the hive, wouldn't be able to find their way back. The downfall is you lose a whole bunch of bees. And so we're trying to retain our bees, especially being that we split this hive that had a queen cell on it. So we don't know if the workers were laying then. And you can see there's lots of bees in here. If the workers were laying then, or if the queen was killed on her mating flight. So we'll try to get a frame out of here so you can see kind of what some of those signals are for looking for laying workers. So this is obviously so you can see there's some queen cups there, but those are pretty much worthless without a queen in there. I don't know if you can see, so all of these are going to end up being brood, but I don't know if you can see the eggs in there or not, but there are a couple cells in there that have a few eggs. And one thing you'll notice is the eggs aren't right in the center. A queen will lay them right in the center. There are some there in the center, but there's a lot of doubled up eggs too. I'm just going to keep this one out. And with those doubled up eggs, you'll have some of the eggs are on the walls, and a lot of them aren't centered. Gosh, there's a lot of eggs in
larvae.
here. Yeah, a lot of eggs, a lot of larvae.
Are they double eggs?
Yeah, some of them down here. We'll go through here, just make sure there's not a queen, but you can see another queen cup there. I don't think there's any eggs in there.
No.
But they're, they're showing signs that they need help. Yeah, a lot of eggs that aren't centered, double eggs. So now what we're looking for is we need to find a frame that has some resources on it, up in a corner preferably, but then also has some open cells, which, seeing how many eggs are being laid, might be a problem. So we may have to take from another hive. What is that bee dragging around? See that? Up there? You see that?
No.
Great. Here. See it dragging that pus sack? I've never seen that before. Interesting. Yeah, multiple eggs in these cells. So nothing really looks good up here, so I'm gonna get those frames back in here, and then maybe we'll try to see if we got any good frames down the bottom. If not, we'll have to pull from another good hive, which I prefer not to. All right, so what we got is, this is the package the bees came in. We got 2 carnelians and an Italian. There's the Italian, all right. So you can see, came as marked, it's upside down, marked Italian. That's what the IT stands for. So I don't know if you can see them in there or not, but it's a queen marked blue. If you check our other videos, you'll figure out why we mark them blue. With looks like maybe 5 attendants. So what we did was we found, this thing is loaded with honey. We took this from a strong hive, but what we want to do is put this, here's the cage we just made, or one of them, but we're going to push this in about here so they got some resources with this honey, but then she can lay over here and get those pheromones started. So what I'm going to do is, we probably should have brought a brush, but I'm going to shake off these bees.
I think we'll get a brush.
Mainly so I don't kill this very many, but...
You want to lay it down flat?
I'm going to just do it just like this. So, and what we'll do is the bees will end up in this flap, so I want to try to get this...
I'd put the flap up.
Well, I don't want to scrape it down against... Come on, buddy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Against the honey.
Yeah. So there. So, this is in. So now what we're going to do is flip this up. Get this flap open. Now what we need is, where's my handy dandy tool? Oh, here it is. So I'm going to take off my gloves for this. These seem to be pretty nice today. There's one that's not good. Yeah. Okay. So there's 2, I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a sugar plug. And what you do if you want the bees to eat away at it, which in a non-laying non-laying hive situation, that would be what you'd want to do. But in this case, we want those bees in there right now. So what I'm going to do is open up this end.
What's your finger?
I am. We got that in there good. Okay, so I got it started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that open and close with my finger. And then I'm going to see if we can't get those bees to go right in there. There you go. There you go.
There she's coming out. There she's out. You're gonna push that down.
It is in.
Huh?
It's in.
There they go.
Wait till somewhere. I got it. It's down.
All right.
No, I can get. Okay, so there we go. So she's in there. Now we get her down in here. I don't know if you can slide down in there or not with the camera.
I would slide this.
I got it. gonna take that empty frame. I'm gonna take a frame that's open, or that already has some comb built out, put it right next to it. And leave just a small gap, mainly so they can crawl around on top. I don't think I got enough room, honestly, to put it. Well, maybe I do. There it is. Okay, so we've got that frame in there. We're gonna get this closed up. And then in about, I'll probably check on it in 2 days or so. They've got enough honey in there to feed themselves. And enough cells to lay in, so it should take a couple days for the hive to get used to her and to her pheromones. Oh, excuse me. To start suppressing those laying workers. So, any luck, this will turn back into a nice healthy hive.